Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have Joe Budden banning Drake from the pod and going off on him for his beef with Rob Markman and his disdain for criticism. And Drake, I hate to break it to you, but when you're a public figure or you're putting your art out there for public consumption, you're not only opening it up to praise, but also criticism. Whether fair or unfair, that's a whole nother conversation, but it's definitely unfair to throw a fit every time someone criticizes you, especially when there's some validity to it. You have to handle these moments and situations with grace, something you have not displayed much of over the past year and a half. You've actively avoided any platform that would give you even the slightest amount of pushback, or platforms that are going to ask the tough questions, the questions people are looking to find answers to. And the funny thing is that Rob has actually spoken positively of Drake before, but as soon as he has an opinion that is actually warranted, like how you handle that beef, now it's a problem. You have egregiously lashed out at people for thinking what everyone else is thinking. So you either must be in denial or have such a high degree of entitlement that you believe that you should be above it all, whether it's the culture or the criticism. And no one should be above some constructive criticism. You constantly run from accountability and want to put the blame on everyone else with erroneous claim after erroneous claim. And Drake, that's obviously not doing you any favors. People will say that Drake doesn't have to do these platforms, which is all right. He's not obligated, nor is anyone else obligated. But I will say this, what he's been doing has not been working, whether it's the streams with Aiden, interviews with Bobby, or even his own Iceman stream rollout, which has definitely been a dud and quite possibly doing the worst job of building excitement, which is what a rollout is supposed to do, with those records fading off the charts faster than they appeared. But enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into the video where we have Joe Budden banning Drake from the pod and going off on him for his beef with Rob Markman and his disdain for criticism. Something that he obviously cannot accept, even when, like I said, there is validity to the claims. And Rob did accuse someone from Drake's camp of trying to bribe him to say positive things about Drake during the beef. So I'm definitely happy to see journalists with integrity, because we have seen many that just will say anything for the bag. And yeah, I'm looking at you, Maul.
He said, well, I would call you names too, but you would sue.
Tupac.
And then that was the end of the exchange.
Yeah.
So the next day I go to get my manicure.
That was a good one. It's a good comeback right there. That's
Well,
a body
good.
shot.
I said earlier someone's called him Supac.
Tupac.
I'm telling you guys, the internet is truly undefeated. It's pure comedic gold literally every day.
Tupac is funny.
That's funny.
Because he also has the Tupac Death Row chain that people were saying he just purchased, which he purchased
They
in
say it's fake
2020.
Yeah, Suge Knight actually confirmed it was fake, and he also pointed out that the original did not have any engraving in the back. And when you have a relic like that, when you have a hip-hop artifact, honestly any artifact, the last thing you want to do is customize it. You're not going to take a sarcophagus and write your name on it, because the value would obviously plummet.
No, it said he got it a few years ago.
I know, but I think someone is coming out and questioning the authenticity of chain that he purchased.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
But so then the next day I'm getting my manicure and Rob responds on his platform, YouTube, and he's like, my response to, or whatever the caption said. And I click it, and boy, was this just the fucking cleanest reply that you could do.
He's a journalist. Like I said, has integrity, and it's going to go about it the right way. And it's the proper way to deal with it, the childlike response.
Because I was so mad at Mark. Classy.
I loved it.
It was shady, but classy.
Why does Drake have such beef with Rob Markman? That's the thing I don't get.
I don't know.
Because for Drake to be Drake and take the time to actually go into the comments of
Obviously, he wasn't happy how he was covering the beef. But the thing is, you have to give people the ammunition if they're going to use anything against you that has some type of validity that is not erroneous. Because at that point, if you don't have that, it's obviously just hate. But the thing is, we're seeing these actions in real time. You're obviously just allergic to accountability.
a random post
From some old-ass content.
Right. It seemed weird to me.
They have beef with the way that everybody covered the Kendrick battle who didn't suck his dick.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
He has a problem if you went to the show. I think he just thinks that people sided with Kendrick.
They obviously gravitated to what they related to. The fact is, this was a long time coming. There's a reason why no one in the industry came out to bat for him, other than people that are obviously in desperate need of a Drake feature. And I hate to break it to you guys too, but that stimulus package isn't what it once was. Those songs are quickly fading as they come in. And Drake and his team can try to revise history as much as they want. It's obviously going to fall on flat ears because we were there. We saw the impact in real time.
And didn't give him a fair shot, and that manifests in these stupid beefs like this one.
Yeah, and he's been on that since the battles, really. Maybe before the battles. Some of the criticism has been taking place. I read an article in the New Yorker, actually, the other day talking about the decline of music review in general, music criticism.
Yeah, because a lot of these journalists are just trying to protect their relationships, but you're doing that while losing all credibility and integrity. If we can't trust your journalism, if we can't trust your reviews, then why even tune in at all?
In general, how like in the Rolling Stone or whatever, they used to just fucking bash people. And now it doesn't really happen as much because...
Justifiably so, though.
Partially, at least because of fan bases being so rabid and annoying that it's like it's not even worth
That's a good point.
scathing somebody over. And,
That's a great point.
and to your point, too,
Which still sucks. Yeah, it is a thing. And with how brand conscious some of these companies are, they're definitely not going to want to rattle the boat. And to actually speak on something I've spoken about before, just like how I feel that, yeah, people shouldn't really have a say in how people create. At the end of the day, it is their art. I feel like the public shouldn't dictate when or how an artist creates, because that's just going to color the sound. It's going to color the subject matter. And I feel like that's a major reason why a lot of the entertainment industry is the way it is today, with people afraid to take chances. But the same way I feel about that is the way I feel about journalists and how they're able to cover these stories. Because again, if you're just going to intimidate these publications to spin the narrative that you just want to hear, they're running with the correct narrative that you don't necessarily want to hear, something we should hear, because news should be based on facts. If you don't, there's editorials and there's a bunch of other opinion-based pieces that you can read instead. But if we're trying to intimidate and bribe somebody to get a positive reaction out of something that probably doesn't merit that, we're just taking out all the credibility and integrity of the art.
the person themselves can now just fire back.
Or now I'm never going to do anything with you guys.
Right. That's fine.
I'm going to punish you for it.
Maybe I just didn't like your album, bro.
The artists that want you to review their music, I feel like you can tell now. And most artists don't want you to review their music.
Unless it's positive.
Of course.
Correct.
They don't even want you to speak on first week sales. That's another taboo thing.
And it didn't used to be like that.
Well, I'm not even going to say that because
It was understood. The role of the critic was understood. At the end of the day, you can't be happy when you get that glowing review that obviously does wonders for your album sales, and yet lash out when a critic gives you a less than favorable review. Obviously, everyone has a right to react to that review and their reaction, but I feel like the last thing you want to do is intimidate somebody to get the reaction or the review that you think you should be getting. Because again, people are going to read right through that when they actually listen to the project for themselves and determine that, yeah, this is a dud. You're not obligated to do any of these platforms, but you also can't neglect the fact that, yeah, these platforms are still very, very important when it comes to spreading the praises of your music.
wax poetic for years, positive. And the second you say one thing negative, that's
Exactly.
the one that they heard.
That's what I said. I said that unless it's something positive, we don't
But
wanna
they
hear it.
might not even know that something positive is happening.
And Ish is pretty hypocritical because he is one of those that gets super upset when anybody has any criticism of Drake.
I think a lot of artists just don't want you to review the music. When Killer Mike came up here,
Oh, they want a glowing review.
when Jid came up here, shit, when Offset came up here, you could just tell the people that, have you heard this album?
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think? I'm here to hear what you think. Versus the people that are playing a different game that don't really care about the reviews. They want to go to their controlled places.
Environment.
Like
Bobby.
their streamer that they fuck with, or Apple, or Spotify, or Zane, or
Which are obviously all important platforms, but when you're only going there, I do feel like you're leaving a lot of really special platforms and really important platforms on the table. At the end of the day, we all know it's because of these political reasons and the fact that some of these guys don't want to get asked the tough questions. But you can't say you're of the culture, yet ignore everything about the culture.
whoever they're going to. Not somewhere that's so irregulated.
That's why I would love to see Drake, because I actually think Drake is a good interview. I think he's interesting and smart and funny and thoughtful. But he so rarely now goes to any platforms where he can demonstrate those things outside of the controlled environment. You know, like he's about to do this. I know he's about to do this, another podcast.
And Bobby has definitely fallen off. I don't see too much positive return from that.
I would love to see him go out. It doesn't have to be here, although I think it'd be amazing here. But like,
Not
I
invited up here, buddy.
fair enough.
Not invited. But see, I like the running theme of that. I like his problem with hip hop media, and I like hip hop media's problem with him.
These platforms are also not obligated to host you either. But let's not act like this Joe Budden Drake interview was probably going to be the most likely of any of these to happen. And honestly, these appearances that Drake has been doing really haven't been the greatest either. All you have to look at is just the chat, fam. It's a constant stream of L's and people clowning on Drake and the things he does. Just because you're going on these people that you assume are safe doesn't mean that you're going to have the reception that you're looking for.
I don't want it to end.
No, but see, I want some answers.
I don't want no answers. Let's stop it. They're going to clip me all up. Let me calm down. Let me calm down a bit. I think I've gotten all the answers that I was looking for.
They've kind of manifested
The thing is, we're seeing it in real time. Do we really need the answers when we have the actions, which obviously speak louder than words?
So, back to your point that all the beefs that he's had with, what's my man's name on YouTube that he was firing at before with the glasses? Fantano?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fantano, like he was firing at him however many years ago. Rob, now everyone, you.
But there's no accountability for it. Like we may get our answers for why we think he did a thing, but I think there's something interesting about saying, Drake, why did you do that? Why would you pick this? Why do you have picks? Or why did you make this choice? Or why do you think you wanted to be for?
It obviously comes from the bruised ego. And for somebody that has been that successful, you would think they would have learned to manage that already. After being in the game for 15 years, you would think that they would understand the roles of the critic, the role of the media personalities and the journalists. It's not like he hasn't had his war of words with like Charlemagne the God and a plethora of other people. And I don't think Drake understands that it would probably be a lot better for him to go on one of these platforms that had some pushback, that asked him the tough questions, and for him to shine. Obviously, he's not built for that because he seems to be avoiding it all.
I think you didn't win the beef. Whatever the thing is, whatever feelings he's feeling, we get it through the music, we get it through
victimizing himself,
representation, but we don't get it from him on the platforms where people can ask questions back. And I just don't like that. And it's not just him. I mean, we see that with a lot of big stars. They just don't go on platforms anymore.
But
and it's not just the music industry. The film industry does the same thing. There's a reason why we don't see certain actors do those interviews, because they don't have any personality. They're literally just an empty vessel that knows how to recite lines and do it well, or either have no personality of their own, or their team just knows they're going to say some wild shit to mess up the bag.
Different with him because now every day or for the rest of time, it just looks like a music video for Not Like Us. That's why. Stay over there with Aiden Ross. Stay over there with Bobby. Stay wherever you feel comfortable at. Right? You're still not. That's still a controlled environment.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But stay over there. Like, I kind of take offense that he even is calling Rob Markman a goof.
It wasn't necessary at all. The guy just jumped out the window for no freaking reason because Rob wasn't even speaking on him. And I'll say this, even those streamers, you look at Aiden Ross and how they actually interact, there's times where you can see that I don't think Aiden Ross really respects Drake at all either. He just sees the potential bag he can get from having him on the streams, because Drake has done countless cringy things on there, and Aiden will react like many of us do, which is why a lot of those reactions turn into memes. So whatever he's been doing this past year and a half, how about let's not do that, do the complete opposite, and see if we can get a different type of outcome. You know what they say, doing the same thing and expecting a different result is just pure insanity.
Yeah.
Rob Markman is comfortable in his skin.
Yes.
Never did nothing wrong
And a
to
good dude.
nobody.
Yeah.
Just a good dude all around the board.
That gives a fuck about music, by the
He
way.
loves music,
He
loves
does.
hip hop. He's a fucking
That part.
But if you're gonna stay in the white spaces, Drake, remember back in the day, people did Barbara. Like, there's a point where Michael Jackson wasn't doing fucking, local radio, but he would do Barbara Walters. He would do, you know what I mean? He still went places where people asked him questions that he wasn't expecting,
Yeah.
or that he couldn't control the answer to. Drake, there's a million places.
And those are some iconic interviews.
I disagree.
You disagree with which part? That he should do it?
That there's a million places that'll ask him tough questions.
Oh, shit. I disagree with that disagreement. I think that if he went anywhere after the year that he just had, people are going to ask him hard questions.
1000%. If Drake goes to any platform where they actually know what they're doing, if he goes and sits down with them, best believe they're going to ask him the tough questions and not care that it's Drake, because they didn't earn their spot by playing it safe.
Yeah.
Anybody with responsible journalism, at least.
Yeah. And there's enough of those.
He's not going to go sit down with the people I think that he can't
controls
necessarily
it,
control a narrative.
And that's what I don't like. I just don't like that. And again, it's not particular to Drake, although Drake is a big example of it because he's such a star. I don't like that in general, how it's changing out. Because there's so many platforms, people pick and choose, and it makes it look like they're on a press run, or it makes it look like they're on a media run, but they're ducking the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just where we are.
Yeah, I hate it.
And because he's moving that way, he's obviously digging himself a bigger hole. Ish is obviously not going to hold Drake accountable, just like how Drake doesn't want to hold himself accountable. If you really want to change the perception, you're going to have to do something more than just sit in an echo chamber. So yeah, guys, this is just another situation where I feel like, Drake, you're not moving smart. If you want to change the narratives, if you want to change the perception that people have of you, the last thing you want to do is just piss off more people in the media. You have been running away from accountability for a long time. You can't go around crying victim when you have allegedly done some of the things that have been alleged about you. And while I do feel like people have a right to react however they want to react, when it comes to receiving criticism, at this point, if you're going to do that, then just have them stop talking about your music altogether, because people will jump up and down when they're getting praised for their work and crash out when they hear something not so positive about them. Guess what? Just like sports teams, guys, there's wins and losses. Even the teams that win the chip, fam, lose a bunch of times during their season. And just like sports, the last thing you want to do is have a battle with the media because you're not going to win that. These are the people that literally make the big bucks to spin narratives. Rob Markman has spoken highly of you before for you to just crash out because you did something stupid during the beef, and he called it out. And it's obviously not just him. If you're going to go after anybody that listened to Not Like Us or showed up to a GNX show or the Pop Out event or just felt that Kendrick Lamar won, you're going to have a very long day. And if you have time for this, honestly, I feel like you're focusing your energy on the wrong thing entirely. Try to make the best music you possibly can. Try to appease your fans. Try to make them happy. And spend less time trying to victimize yourself and trying to be sassy to media personalities because it's very unbecoming. And while Drake obviously has the right to not show up to these platforms if he doesn't want to, it still doesn't make it the right decision. I feel like right now he should be trying to get the respect back. And for most people, it's already too late to try to gain that back. But you're doing a lot more damage to the people that were casuals than any good that's coming from any of this stuff. At a certain point, you're going to have to sit down with somebody that is going to ask those questions, not sitting with Bobby Altoff talking about your favorite wings and your favorite pillowcases. I don't think that's getting anybody to listen to your music, which I'm pretty sure he's trying to get people to do because those Iceman streams obviously didn't work out. When was the last one? What, like a month ago at this point? They invested a lot of money, and when you do that, you're going to want to see a return. For those songs to literally fade off the charts in 3 to 4 weeks, man, is very telling on how people are perceiving him right now. And you can't blame the industry because, man, those records are still getting high playlisting on some of the most revered hip-hop playlists. So you can't blame that. Fact is, people are choosing to not listen to these records. And you continuously being catty is obviously not going to help with the casuals. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel a part of your day. It honestly means the world to me, and all the love and support that you guys continue to show this channel on the daily is overwhelming and probably the biggest reason why I make these videos. I really want to let you guys know how grateful I am for all of it. I definitely want to send a big shout out to all those joining the YouTube memberships. Small way to support the channel, but definitely goes a long way in helping out. And a very big super thank you to all those that have been sending super thanks. Again, they help out the channel tremendously. And definitely a major shout out to Renee for another awesome super thanks. And I definitely want to let you know that your support is greatly appreciated. So I'm definitely looking forward to your takes on this topic. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. And you can't keep attacking the media and think that people are going to write nice things about you. Because it's really easy to be excited when it's all praise, but the way you handle criticism and adversity is what truly tells people who you really are.